below itself. If you take the opposite view, where you go from the high to that low over there, same exact thing. It's going to close. Well, I mean, it's only Saturday. Assuming ETH closes above 29.60 this week, but ideally doesn't, if it comes back to like 29.90 or 29.80, that's going to be an upper wick, wait a week, right? But if ETH closes here or higher, you've got everything you need to see a period of ETH outperformance, especially given that I've just shown you that Bitcoin is not doing that yet. Again, we might see Bitcoin take over. I do actually expect a rotation back into Bitcoin and front running of Bitcoin for a bullish next week. I do think that will start tonight and into tomorrow, potentially. But let's be objective. If Bitcoin doesn't close the weekly above 79, let's call it, then it won't confirm a 20% plus breakout. ETH does. Look at Sol, same example. And this kind of analysis, or this kind of these kind of views are something that you only need to do literally once a week, right? It's not like it's a hard thing to do. However, now Sol in its previous range over here, so doesn't really apply to Sol yet because it's not trying to break out. So Sol hasn't broken above any major resistance. It would only count if Sol tries to break above there. So actually the best thing, especially with this candle we've had now, it would be far better for Sol not to hit these highs tomorrow. Right? You don't want to see Sol hit those highs this week. It would be so much better if Sol spends a week or two consolidating and then has a breakout above that 20%, and then it's all systems go. So from top to bottom of that range, looking at Sol across here, basically, if Sol has a single weekly candle that breaks through and closes above 229, let's call it 230, that's it. Breakout momentum, all-time high next at 260 and beyond. Until then, you should actually hope for Sol to not break out. It'd be nice to see Sol maybe spend a couple of weeks doing that. But we'll see. Who knows? You can't always have what you want. Breakout magnitude. Okay, last part. So, that's from some old lesson. The magnitude of the breakout is very important. So, if you want to look at lack of momentum, this comes into respect as well. When the market's got momentum, so quite clearly, there's strong momentum here. What are you looking at? This strong momentum move leads to what? It leads to the market going higher as it goes higher and higher and higher. So it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. That momentum leads to continuation. But as the continuation is happening, you must also be analyzing each subsequent push to see, are these pushes continuing the momentum? Meaning, let's look at this. There's the resistance, okay? So you've got a move up, resistance, drops back into a swing low here. So from wick, top wick to bottom wick, this breakout, this next breakout goes well up above 1.5. I think it actually goes to 1.75, which is over here, okay? So this has a 1.75 breakout. Where is my fucking call out? There we are. 1.75 breakout. All that means is, from the previous swing low to swing high, it's broken out 1.75 deviation. Then it drops back, and then it goes for another one. So the point at which you're looking at this is on each subsequent breakout, and when price tries to break out again, because again, it moves up, it breaks out, it comes back, it holds the daily structure especially, it holds the daily market structure, so that's fine. This could still be an uptrend. Obviously, you can see the full retracement. Obviously, you can see momentum beginning to weaken. But objectively, you can say, I see this momentum weakening, or you can measure it. Because the top to the bottom of that move, what does price do on the next breakout? 1.25. So when you have a 1.75 breakout followed up by a 1.25 breakout, that means the magnitude of the second breakout is smaller, breakout magnitude. The magnitude of the second move is smaller than the first. Now you can also see, again, like I said, you can also visually just see this. It's rounding out. But you can objectively measure it. The magnitude of the second breakout is smaller, significantly smaller. If it was a bullish trend, with continuation momentum, what would it do? High into a low, breakout, clear breakout, shallow pullback, clear breakout, shallow pullback, clear breakout. None of these 1.2s or 1.3s or 1.25s, big breakouts, 1.5s, 1.75s, 2, right? Moving a full deviation above its previous range, previous swing level. And when it stops doing that, when it goes from having a nice 1.75 to a 1.5 to a 1.2, you're seeing what you need to see to get out. Get out of longs, get into shorts if your system says so. Or at the very least, be exercising caution. Yeah. Okay. And that is it. Now you can apply that breakout magnitude on any time frame. You can apply the respective moving averages on any time frame. On all of it, as always, GM. Thank you all for watching. Now, questions I will get into. There is going to be a second momentum. You'll notice at the start I said part 1. There's going to be a second price momentum-based weekend workshop, and it is going to focus on a little bit of expansion on some of those topics, plus indicators. I'll also show some of those common indicators. Dive a little bit more into volume, talk a little bit more about RSI and that kind of stuff. But for now, we'll see if there are any questions. By the way, if any of your questions are related to momentum indicators, I won't answer them because that will be on the future. Listen. So Nick, GM, started analyzing Doge. This is something that he was talking about earlier. Started analyzing Doge by marking key structure levels from the weekly, the 15-minute chart with goal of trading internal structure over the weekend. What I find particularly interesting is the 1 hour structure is positioned higher than the 1 day structure, while the 4 hour structure is at its lowest point. The fact that 1 day structure is above 1 hour structure is especially noteworthy. This raises the question, could it indicate that Doge is in a strong local uptrend? Does this indicate short-term bullish momentum? Even if the higher time frame uptrend is weaker, if so, Doge might offer better opportunities in the lower time frame, internal side. A plan test this theory. So this is about momentum. And essentially, you're looking at the daily structure and then the 1 hour structure. Right? So the daily structure is above the 1 hour and above the 4 hour. So to properly look at this, I'm going to have to go check it out myself because I don't understand what you've done and why you've done it necessarily. So here we go. You're looking at, I'm assuming, you're looking at this as your daily. Is that right? 1934. Yeah. So there's your daily market structure level. If you then look on a 1 hour, over here. If you're looking on the 1 hour, what Nick means is this. This is the last 1 hour level that led to a new high. Okay, so if you're looking here, this is actually the daily because of the, I believe it's because of the close candle, right? Yeah. This daily low led to a higher close candle. So the daily structure is trending up. Whereas this 1 hour structure, so we got the daily over here, and then you've got the H1, right? Because it hasn't led to a 1 hour close candle yet, as we haven't seen one. Okay. So if you're looking at this chart on a 1 hour basis, until price closes above this previous 1 hour swing high, the market structure level is actually here. That's the last down close candle before the move up. But the daily chart has actually developed bullish structure in between, because we had a daily downwards close candle followed by higher closes. Remember, higher closes if you're using line chart. So essentially you're asking, what does this mean? Not trying to hedge here, but it can be bullish or bearish. It doesn't necessarily indicate massive strength or massive weakness. So it applies in the context of the trend itself. So contextually, Doge is in a very strong uptrend. And like you say, could it indicate Doge in a strong local uptrend? Does it indicate short-term bullish momentum if the even higher time frame uptrend is weaker? If so, Doge might offer better opportunities in the lower time frame. A plan test this theory. To me, the fact that your 1 hour structure is lower, but you've set higher daily market structure, it really simply means we're not going here. Okay? If you have a higher time frame level that is formed above a lower time frame level, it means it's not going to go anywhere near this, and if it does, it's bearish. It's outright bearish. So what could happen, imagine this, comes down like this, right? You could say, oh, but it hasn't broke the 1 hour structure yet. Yeah, but it's broken the daily structure. So you can basically disregard this 1 hour structure as being a level that you'd want to buy. Price already come back into it. It already come back into the order block and tapped it. So this 1 hour structure would not have any relevance to you wanting to buy in a bullish trend. If you look then at the internal 1 hour structure, that's a much better way to play it, like you've mentioned. As it's going from low into the high, into a higher low, into the higher high, into the higher low, into the higher high, into the higher low. So here's the best way of viewing Doge, if you're looking at here. There's the 1 hour internal structure. That's the last red candle before this highest point. The 1 hour internal structure is Doge's bull bear line. If Doge breaks below that 1 hour internal structure, it's over. Because you got the daily right below it, and the 1 hour structure, with the way this is shaping up, if this momentum is going to continue, that should lead to a new high. If it doesn't, if it starts to fall below that 1 hour structure, then you're looking at minimum a lengthy consolidation, if not even a deeper sell-off. V, for momentum breakout, is it worth to play around limit orders? Well, the timing is so important that the saving on fees are not worth the risk of not getting filled. Well, I talked a little bit about that on a daily, on the daily open video from this morning. So I talked about that and I showed exactly how you would do it on the daily open video. So check that out. It's available in daily stream here. Trade with Prof Daily Open Live. I actually explained exactly that. That's not really relevant to this lesson. It's nothing to do with limit orders or market orders, because I'm talking about, you're talking about high time frame close on a weekly basis. I mean, you don't need to use a market order for that, right? Hungry Hugo, GM. You always talk about catching big and fast momentum moves. The scalper, 1 minute, 30 second. What price action would you definitely include in the scalping system? Just based on deviation, trade the opposing momentum. So look at this recently, the weekend workshop will have a lot. Confused now to look at scalping momentum moves. Put too much thought into it. Focus, make it simpler. Yeah. Simpler, more effective. Don't try and replicate things I'm saying, right? Because if I'm talking about catching a fast move or this is big momentum, whatever, I'm usually just giving my thoughts as quickly as I can if I'm trying to trade. It doesn't mean that there's a specific way of identifying that right away from day one. This is just something that I've developed over years. It's always based off the same stuff. The entry is always based off market structure, whether it's a 1 minute chart or a 1 week chart. It's always based off market structure, maybe moving averages, and generally that's about it. And momentum just means, like I said before, where is the price respecting? If it's moving up, is it still respecting all the key points along the way that made it move up? If so, then I want to be following that move. The magnitude of the move is not really up to you. Or, it's up to the market. Or, do you think there's a lack of momentum? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's a lack of momentum. Price had a large move up and it's starting to round out. Absolutely, 100%. And we'll see BTC right now, though, has reversed quite nicely. ETH, let me just double check here. So BTC, lack of momentum. On the right hand side. And ETH, lots of momentum, right? So ETH clearly has more momentum than BTC right here. That's natural. This is all just a catch-up trade. So it's easy to get bearish and think, oh my god, ETH's outperforming, that's really bad. Not really. Because, again, zoom out. Which coin's doing better? Yeah, Bitcoin. On every time frame except like the 1 hour. So yes, that's lack of momentum, sure. But lack of momentum doesn't indicate a reversal. It indicates the end of a trend. So that trend that we had off the election results, that's over. I mean, it ended on Thursday. Anyway, like Bitcoin had the big move up, right? Bitcoin has big move up and it ended on Thursday, on Wednesday, I should say. Big move up, it ended Wednesday. That was it. It's done. But if you're looking at Bitcoin on this daily chart, it doesn't mean Bitcoin is not going up anymore, right? Because all you've seen is a 1 hour lack of momentum on the lower time frame. But this, again, can just be another one of these upwards sloping accumulations like this. Where you get your breakout momentum, you get your massive momentum, and then price just grinds higher. So at no point did Bitcoin have momentum here, right? In these candles. The momentum move happened, we moved up, but at no point along here in this kind of 2-week period did Bitcoin have any momentum, but it was building a base to go higher. It's consolidation. So once momentum weakens, you get consolidation. You don't get a reversal. It's not automatic that you get a reversal. That's really important, like I noted in the lesson. Yes, sometimes it's the bull market top, but most of the time it just means it's not going to go up with impulse anymore. It's going to have to go sideways. Based on what you've explained, Bitcoin's current weekly candles, weak momentum, already covered. Do we calculate Bitcoin's recent breakout week candle from 49k? Already covered. Timir, can this candle be considered bullish? Measure it. I would say no, because you can see a lower wick and an upper wick. That's probably like 80%. That candle would fall into the category of wait one more week, right? But just measure it. If it's 90% or more, just keep it simple. If it's 90% or more, then it's bullish, like undeniably bullish. And so, if you're looking at Solana with this candle, I mean, it's really simple. Just go from bottom to top. 67, and the body of it was 57. So that's not 90%, that's less. That's like 80% or so. You wait 1 week, you get a reversal candle next week. You know, okay, time to ease off. It's the same as anything with this. Same as that one over there. If you think you've seen momentum, wait one candle. If it's true momentum, it's going to continue anyway. It's going to have multiple, like say you've a daily chart or whatever, a daily breakout. If you see a large move on a daily, give it one candle. You can always wait one. But you can also trade them with without waiting for the one. You have to have your invalidation very tight. Because the idea of momentum is that what? If it breaks out, it will not come back. So you're trying to identify areas where you could just buy or sell and have a very tight invalidation because it should not go back to that retest area. Like ETH, for example. If ETH's momentum is legit here, it is not going to go back to, if ETH's momentum here is legitimate, it's not going to 2,800. It's not going back to 2,900. If ETH has breakaway momentum, it's staying here and it's just going higher. It'll go down later on sometime in the future, yeah. But this move, if it's going to be like this move, what you'll see is off the weekly open, ETH dip will get bought heavily and it will just move higher again. If not, that's a sign in of itself. So next week, basically at the end of next Sunday, we'll have an idea, much better idea of momentum. Looking at Bitcoin, larger wick, current candle, resistance just touched, doesn't go much higher. Covered anyway. Covered already, sorry, bro. It's bullish currently anyways. No, as I covered. If you're using a breakout rule of 20%, then no. Bitcoin hasn't done that yet. Legit. Are the wicks also a big indicator of slowing momentum? The wicks are what it's all about. I said this exactly in the lesson, yes. It's exactly what I said. The reason why these candles did not need to dip lower is because there was so much demand that there was no lower wick. Price had to dip really low to find demand. People are like, oh, it's a bullish shakeout. It might be a bullish shakeout for a couple of days, but the fact the price has to dip so low is a sign in of itself. It has to go lower seeking liquidity. That's why when you see those massive shakeouts, people are like, oh, the massive shakeout means it's a top because that's when, whatever. The massive shakeout means we're just getting started. No, it doesn't. It means we're ending. ETH, just beautiful. Grind higher. Grinding up. And everyone's saying, oh, waiting for the leverage shakeout. Then the leverage shakeout comes. And of course, they don't buy the actual shakeout. They buy above it. Oh, we've had the shakeout, now off to the moon. No. ETH had so much demand that it just went up. Then it needed to go from 3,500 to basically 3K to find enough demand to reverse. That's a sign, number one, yes, it's a sign of leverage apes coming in. So that's a sentiment indicator in and of itself. And two, it has to dig deeper for liquidity. So, when you start to see these leverage shakeouts, just like ETH did, big bullish move up here, well, guess what? Big deep wick, what happened? It was the end of the momentum. ETH currently has nothing but beautiful bullish momentum. The expectation you should have for ETH right now would be that it just keeps going. When you start to see that kind of thing, okay, it's going to go a bit higher, but then that's probably it for a while. So, yeah. And this is the whole point of, waiting for a dip to get in, and then the dip comes, you don't buy the dip, and then you think it's going to go higher. It's like, people won't want to get in because I'll get in on a pullback. By the time you get a pullback that you want to buy, it's probably not one that you want to hold for long. Great dips to buy, but you should probably take profit at the highs. Snake candles, been viewing through lens of price testing previous gaps. From what I would assume, continuation bullish case. Lens of momentum, 9% candles, 6% momentum slowing. Always a sign of momentum slowing. Always, 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 always. Think about it, right? It's respect. What was price doing? What was the behavior of ETH's price here? It was full body candle, no wick, bought off the daily open. Full body candle, almost no wick, bought off the daily open. Full body candle, closing near the highs, closing near the highs, closing near the highs. Slightly deeper wick. Closes near the highs, but slightly further off the highs, right, than the previous ones. And then, big deep wick, closes nowhere near the highs. Momentum is gone. The momentum of this move, especially because you've had 5 weeks in a row, so you're up significantly, everyone's going to be turbo bullish by this point, price targets are getting revised higher, momentum is gone at this point. Again, it doesn't mean, just because we've seen examples where it reverses, it doesn't mean it's going to go all the way back down. But if this was going to continue to be bullish, you would expect ETH to go sideways for probably 10 weeks. I would say at least double of the move itself. It would have to consolidate. And that's exactly what Bitcoin has done. Right? So Bitcoin on this monthly move has shown us just that. Huge momentum. Big momentum candle, but not a 90% candle, right? 2 big bullish candles. Look at the momentum here. So no lower wick, no upper wick, basically. Almost no lower upper wick, almost no lower upper wick. Little bit of an upper wick. What happens? We have a consolidation. Consolidation leads to a major expansion through. Then we get a follow-up month. That is not a 90% candle. So you wait a candle, drops all the way back. Like, all right, cool. This bullish momentum is over. So at this point, the bullish momentum is over. It's going to need some time. A lot of people were calling for it to go back to 20k and 30k and all that. But really, all Bitcoin needed was, it went up for 6 months. It needed 8 months to cool off. And maybe this is still going. Again, this is not confirmed yet. We have 21 days left in the month, right? So there's a long time left to go. But what you would want to see, ideally, for Bitcoin this month is obviously closing at the highs. Because we do have a lower wick. So you don't want to see Bitcoin close this month with any upper wick. That was fine in September. That was fine in October. I said that on monthly preview. I expect a lower wick and an upper wick. Because it's like this grind higher. But you want to see Bitcoin close. If this month is going to lead to more months of bullishness, it needs to close above 79 or 80. So above that 20% deviation on the monthly basis. And it needs to close near the highs. Otherwise, yeah, it can go higher. Of course it can. But the best moves, open at the lows and close at the highs. Open at the lows and close at the highs. Tiny wick down, close at the highs. Once you start to see this kind of shit coming in, right? Again, it goes significantly higher. It goes from 32k to 60. But you can already see the momentum slowing. So we don't have any of that yet for Bitcoin. Like let's talk on the 1st of December. Zablenko, nothing to do. That has nothing to do with this lesson. Easy Sniper, can impulse candle detector be used to identify momentum as well? Yeah, that'll be something that's in part 2. That'll be something that's more covered in part 2. All right, GM, I did not need to see this, so that's a best way to end. Thanks for joining, everyone. GM. Tomorrow, we will have Weekly Outlook Live. A big one. And big week. I told you last Sunday this would be a big week. It was a fucking big week, right? With 1 million streams. So streaming tomorrow, and then Purple Belts. I'll be going live at the 7 p.m. UTC. 40 minutes from now, Purple Belts will be going live for the second stream, the Purple Path. See you all then. Get your questions into Purple Belt chat if you want. Tag me in there. GM, everyone. Talk soon.